All right, so the news just dropped. Khamzat, Sean Strickland, UFC 328. It's your boy DHP, and y'all know the rest, man. And hey, so I'm out and about, and I was waiting for the fight news to drop. It seems like Uncle Dana, y'all favorite Uncle Dana, he just be dropping this shit like whenever. Because usually back then he would drop it at a certain time, but now it's like whenever the fuck he gets online, I guess. But he dropped the news, UFC 328, Khamzat, Sean Strickland. And I made a video, for those that follow my videos, y'all know I made the video, like a couple weeks ago or whatever, or after the Fluffy fight. I'm like, Sean Strickland may just vault to himself. He may, skip the line over Nasruddin Imhoff. Now, I'm going to go back over the whole card, because I seen Khamzat, Sean Strickland, and then Walter Cortez Acosta, he's fighting Alexander Volkov. That might be, I wouldn't say a title eliminator fight, because you got, that might be a title eliminator fight. That might be the winner of that fight might get the winner of Tom Aspinall, and then either Alex Pereira or Cyril Gane. But yeah, I got to go back through that whole card to see what's up with it. Because all I peeped was just Khamzat, Sean Strickland, Walter Cortez Acosta, and Alexander Volkov. But it seemed like I said, I mentioned it before, that Sean Strickland, with that dominant win over Fluffy, especially the way this nigga Sean be talking, and then, him and Khamzat been chirping back and forth on Twitter and shit like that. I'm like, in today's UFC climate, Sean Strickland just skipped the line. Going back to what Triple C said it on the podcast. It was like last year. Triple C said it on the podcast, like, nowadays, if you know how to promote and shit like that, you can skip the line very easily with just like one dominant win or whatever. So that's exactly what Sean Strickland did. So now after the loss against DDP the first time, losing his belt, then losing the rematch, DDP is kind of like Cyril Gane. Sean Strickland is getting the third try at the middleweight strap. So this time it's against Khamzat. Honestly, it seemed like not only what I've been saying about today's UFC climate, but it seems like Nasruddin don't want to fight Khamzat for the same reason why Merab, and I ranted on this like 2 years ago, whatever, with Merab and Aljo, because tell you the truth, it shouldn't even have been Sugar Sean. Merab should have got a title shot before Sugar Sean. It shouldn't have been Sugar Sean versus Aljo. It should not been. Merab was definitely, if you go back and paid attention to their progression through the rankings and who they fought and shit like that, Merab should have been got a shot over Sugar Sean. But it seemed like that's the same thing was going on with Nasruddin, and that's the shit that I low-key hate. Because it's kind of like, and I just mentioned this. I believe I just mentioned this on my Monday weekend recap video about, for those that really pay attention to my videos, I mentioned this on the Monday weekend recap. Let me take a sip of my tea. About the number one contender. We rarely see the champion fight the number one contender. Like when you see, like on the fight scoreboard or whatever, at the ticker below, and you see like Khamzat Chimaev, and then it got champion, right? And then so let's just say hypothetically Fluffy Hernandez, it would say ranked number 4 Hernandez. You never see the champ fight the number 1 ranked fighter. It's not that it's rare, but we only get to see that maybe like 4 to 5 times. Like how many if we count out how many title fights, say like there's 10 title fights that we getting this year. Obviously not, it's gonna be more than 10, but say like it's 10 title fights we getting this year, right? We probably want to see the number 1 ranked fighter or the number 1 ranked next to this guy, to the challenger, at least about maybe 3 to 4 times out of the 10 title fights that we're going to get. And this is another example of like, I just hate it, bro. I know it may sound like I'm complaining or I'm yelling to the skies, but the number one contender, the old ways of the UFC to me, the number one contender, if he's healthy, he has to. He's the number one. He's the number one contender for a reason. And then so on top of that, right? It makes the fight between him and Caio Borrello. It's like that didn't even fucking matter, you know. Now I'm pretty sure it has more so to do with Nasruddin himself. He don't want to fight Khamzat because I guess they cool or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming if Caio Borrello was to beat Nasruddin that night, Caio Borrello would probably get that shot. You know what I mean? But, oh man, bro. I mean, I'm cool with it because not only, to me, this would be a good fight. This is another interesting matchup in middleweight. But the promos, the countdown, the shit that's gonna come with the trash talking and shit like that. This might be an entertaining build up. Like the build up to the pay-per-view, it might be a good entertaining build up. But morally, it's kind of like this is just like the new it's like the new climate of the UFC. Is like some of these fights don't even matter no more. Like the fighter rings don't even matter no more. But yeah, Cams, y'all get ready. Y'all get ready, because I mean, besides me complaining and me ranting a little bit, Cams and Sean Strickland, it's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be an entertaining matchup. Not only matchup, but yeah, like I said, the build up and shit. It's gonna be something to behold. You know what I mean? It should be a little better fight than Khamzat and DDP, and it should be way more of an entertaining build than Khamzat and DDP. But yeah, after this, I'm gonna go check out the whole card, see what's up, and then also I might as well just throw this shit in here too. So Aljo is facing Youssef Salal. So it was looking like it was going to be Aljo and Gene Silva. Now it's Aljo and Youssef Salal. And then also, speaking of Gene Silva, that's maybe why they pulled that matchup. So the London card is coming up with Masa Evlov and Leron Murphy. It seemed like what's been reported, Masa Evlov, he has some visa issues. So Gene Silva might take his spot. Might take Masa's spot in that matchup. That would be an interesting matchup if Gene Silva was to take his spot. But also, it's kind of like what the fuck is going on with Masa? Like, the same thing like how I said Merab should have been got the shot over Sugar Sean, like back then. Masa Evlov should have been had a title shot, but it's like one thing or another with him, you know, whether it's injuries, visa issues, whatever. But yeah, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all get ready, because it makes me wonder if Khamzat, let's just say Khamzat do beat Sean Strickland, right? Like, what the fuck is Nasruddin gonna do? Like, is Khamzat is Khamzat, and I've been said, if Khamzat stayed to his word that, you know, he want to defend the belt 1 or 2 times and then go up to light heavyweight, if he stays to his word, then maybe Nasruddin gets the winner. But it don't even make sense because if he don't want to fight Khamzat, truth be told, I'm gonna just say this right now, Khamzat is beating Sean Strickland. Like, I don't see nobody beating Khamzat in that weight division right now. It has to be, and it's funny because the niggas I've said that can beat Khamzat, they lost. And then RDR, he lost again, and then he's going up to like heavyweight. So this, honestly, even I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for the matchup. But when you really look at it and you really think about it from a different perspective, it kind of don't make sense, because if Khamzat going to stay, then what? You just not going to fight for the title? You know what I mean? Like, the nigga is already the #1 ranked fighter at middleweight. So we just going to keep skipping over the #1 ranked fighter just because, you know, you don't want to fight Khamzat And it is not, and I know what it's about. It's not that he's scared of Khamzat. I think they got like some type of brotherhood or something like that. But that goes back, and I know I'm kind of dragging this along, but that goes back to the shit that I made like last year. It was either last year or 2 years ago. I made this about, it was more so about Aljo and Marab, and you had T Wood. Who was T Wood's guy, bro? Because T Wood, I forgot who the fuck it was. It wasn't Ben Askren. It was somebody else. T Wood didn't want to fight somebody at welterweight because they was cool. I gotta go back to what I said. But regardless, the sport of MMA, I mean, people gotta learn to, what's business is business and not take it so personal. We is in the sport of, and granted, I know the true meaning of being a mixed martial artist means much more than fighting your teammates or whatever for money and shit like that, which is funny because Aljo said if him or Marab would get this amount of much, if they wanted a certain amount of money for them to fight. So there's a price that can be had and that can be, written on the check for these niggas to fight. But the true meaning of being a mixed martial artist or being into mixed martial arts is much more than like fighting somebody that you're cool with or your teammates and shit like that. So I get that aspect, but at the same time, it's a mainstream. MMA has now ushered into mainstream sports, especially under the mainstream brand of the UFC, to where there's a lot. And now, granted, we can go for hours and hours about UFC need to update pay, where because boxing, these boxing niggas, they get paid more than like basketball players and football players and shit like that. And UFC, you can arguably say the UFC and mixed martial arts is a better brand of a combat sport than boxing and then the mainstream brand of like PBC, Top Rank and shit like that. So we deserve, as mixed martial artists, we deserve to have a much more higher pay grade scale, right? But at that same notion, you here to fight and to fight to make money. So why not, fight your teammate or whatever? You can still be, as I always say to my boys, like we always gonna be boys for life. Like our brotherhood is one, right? But at the same time, business is business. Niggas gotta learn how to not take it so personal. So Nazdeen, it is personal because they have a brotherhood. I think I seen somewhere talking about Nazdeen. I think his mother spoke out, excuse me, and said they wouldn't fight Khamzat. But yeah, the more you think about it, it's like it don't even make sense. Because what if Khamzat stays at middleweight? So what you gonna do then? You know what I mean? Especially because who the fuck is gonna take the belt from Khamzat? Like who? You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah. Let me go ahead and publish this video, and I'm gonna see y'all niggas for the preview show for Joshua Emmett and Kevin Vahalios. So until tomorrow, holla at y'all niggas later, man.